All right, everybody, it's the Working Fans Podcast with the man they call Dave, and a special interview today. I got my wrestling mentor here actually today with us. He is the guy who causes all kinds of chaos for New Heights Wrestling. He is the wonderful, beautiful ghost hostess with the mostest. Ladies and gentlemen, Princess Josh.
Thank you for such kind words. They, them, we're still working on it. But I appreciate every time you guys try during actual commentary. But happy to be here. Can't wait to hear what you've got for me now.
Oh, hey, listen, I thought, well, last time we did an interview a couple years ago, and at that point, we weren't really working together. And I don't even know if you're still, I don't think I asked you, you're working like what, a Southern Extreme Wrestling promotion?
I've worked with a lot. It's been over 13 years. It's hard to remember every single place I've been to and place that I've met you guys at. So it all just is a blur at some point.
Well, we ended up doing commentary for New Heights Wrestling shortly after that interview. And yeah, so I just figured, hey, let's just give people some background who aren't familiar with you. How did you break into business? How did this all come about for you?
I have one of those magical journeys that shouldn't have happened. Like I said, 13 plus years ago, I was working in the independent music scene, a company called Anti-Authority Records, Zero Gravity Records, Homeboys Delusional Chemical. And then eventually I was big. I've always been big into wrestling, always loved it, always wanted to be a part of it. And it just kind of worked out where I wore a Leva Bates t-shirt one day to Free Comic Book Day. And a local promoter saw me with the shirt, and because I tagged her in it and stuff. And it was one of those like, independent wrestling, and I don't know you. So that started a wonderful friendship with me and James Legend. And then from there, at the very first show that he did for Brawl USA, I was a part of, helped out there. From there, Simon saw me at that show. He looked after me, told me to come out to Vintage Wrestling. He introduced me to Francisco Chiazzo. That's when those two started taking a liking to me. Cez really taking a liking to me. Puerto Rican Hound Dog eventually took a liking to me after seeing me at a few of these shows, invited me down to his company to start learning some things. He also had a ring where he trained some people and stuff. So I went down there, learned some bumps, stuff like that. And then one thing has always led to another, and 13 years later, somehow I'm still here.
There's something to that, man. I mean,
dedication and heart.
Dedication and heart. It was Scott Hall says, right? It's like not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. And I'm guessing there's been a few times you've been knocked down along this journey too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but it's one of those, this is where it'll be a little bit different than other people, right? Why do we get into this? For me, it was always a love and a respect in the art. Now, some people want money. Some people want fame. All good. Those would be nice. But for me, it was always about the art and the art of professional wrestling, the art of sports entertainment and all of it. And I've just been enamored with every aspect of it.
I don't think I've ever asked you, we might have talked about, because we've had a lot of conversations over the years, obviously, but what hooked you as a fan into pro wrestling? What was that? Do you have a moment where you're like, oh, that was it?
Yeah, WrestleMania 3. As a young child at that point, I would have been 2 years old with barely any real cognitive memory, or 2.5 or so, right? But I always remember being like around youngest of ages, me and my uncle always watching pro wrestling, and very specifically renting VHS tapes from Coliseum Home Video at the time. And I always rented WrestleMania 3 a lot, and Hogan versus Andre was a big thing for my family. And then shortly thereafter, there is 4. By the time 4 rolls around, I'm 3. And it just was always there in my life. So it was just always something. And then like as you grow and they're like, it's fake, you know that? It's not real. Yeah. That only made me want to understand the process of it more. Like how you're telling me these two dudes don't really hate each other, but they're going out there and making people believe it. Like, how does this all work? And so that, once again, that's what all of it for me.
Yeah, that's wild. This is going to be a random question, and you don't have to go into a deep story, but I was just thinking, with all your years experience, have you ever personally been involved, maybe not you personally, or been at an event where things got a little more real than they were supposed to?
How do you mean by that? Because there have been many a times where I've had interactions with fans. Once again, non-binary, they, them. I wear a skirt to the ring. I make no qualms about who or what I am. And there have been a lot of interactions with fans that have gotten very real for me. That old school kind of heat, as they say. Yeah, I've been threatened by fans. I've had them attack me, swing at me, spit at me, all those wonderful things that are completely unplanned and very real for those people in their experience, right?
Yeah, that's intense. That's interesting. I was thinking just more like if you got to see a couple guys like maybe in the ring, you know, unplanned, like, well, this isn't going the way it's supposed to. But I forgot, yeah, you have probably had a lot of heat with fans given. Yeah, I can see that.
And this is legit. And you've heard all the old schooler guys kind of say it and shit like that. Yeah, I've seen a couple guys throw potatoes here and there, but a lot of mutual respect kind of thing at the end of the day, right? But anytime anybody's ever had real problems, it's always handled either out front, out back, so, you know, somewhere where the fans aren't paying a ticket for.
Right. I think it's very seldom I've heard of like real stories where something happened in the ring. You know, I think Antonio Inoki, you know, there's that famous video, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where there was a heavyset gentleman, the great Antonio, decided to try him in the ring, and obviously didn't work out well for him, if you've ever seen this. But yeah, I can say that happened. I've heard too many stories about that.
Yeah, I live in the state of Florida, where New Jack spent some time. So I've heard many of stories and this, that, and the other. But it's a new day and age, right? Pro wrestling's changed.
Right.
It's a business. We all understand it's business. Like, and if you can't be professional, if you can't put your differences, look, yeah, things get heated sometimes, but if you can't put your your personal feelings aside sometimes and handle yourself somewhat professionally here, should you even be around?
100%. Now, obviously, most of my time with you, pretty much all of it, has been with New Heights Wrestling. How did you get involved with New Heights Wrestling?
That's a magical story. Oh, about 8 or so years ago, a good buddy of mine named Wayne Van Dyke, who's no longer with us, he had seen me performing as doing Carnival Ringmaster gimmick. And there was a buddy of mine also at the same time, Tweedle Dye, who was just starting to split from Wayne. They were doing some things, and unfortunately Wayne passed away. And both of them had kind of recommended me to the brass of New Heights Wrestling and stuff like that. Hey, we should bring in this kid. He, trust us. He'll work out for you and stuff like that. And I was going through some stuff around the same time, and it was just one of those. Tweedle hit me up and was like, hey, I know you're wanting to work. If you want to get into a car with us and drive all the way up there and drive all the way back, just throw in for gas, all that kind of stuff, there will be a spot for you to manage me. And that's what it just was. That's all it was to start with, was just a spot to manage my buddy. And that eventually evolved into almost within my first year, the person who was doing video production moved out of state, and I have done video production for about as long as I've been in pro wrestling. So it was one of those things of, I went to those in charge, was like, hey, you need video production? I can do video production. And then kind of the rest is history.
And now, for those who don't know too, now New Heights going through a bit of a change. NHW Pro on YouTube. This is something I probably already know the answer to, but maybe tell people, what has the process been like for you? And how's it going now?
Now, because this is obviously something that never really gets talked about, especially with over at New Heights Wrestling and stuff. We keep very tight-lipped about who's doing what and this, that, and the other. Because legit, even though I'm pretty much a lot of the production stuff, we've got a whole crew of guys, kids who are just starting out, kids who've been doing this for a little bit, who all dedicate their time to learning how to operate cameras, how to do sound, all these little things that you never really think of when it comes to a production of a wrestling show. So for me, it was always a thing of, when I inherited the mantle of doing production for New Heights, I knew prior to me getting there a few years prior, they had a TV deal and they were doing television shows. So it was always a goal to kind of get to that stage again. So eventually, a lot of hard work, and I'm trying to remember it all. But the process has been grueling. It has been tough. It has been a lot of hard work. But as of right now, it's been all worth it for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. And I mean, I can say personally too, just watching the shows on YouTube and the way they're formatted and everything right now, I've always liked the work we've done. It's very exciting for me because this is the first promotion I've ever got to work for. But watching the way it's formatted on NHW Pro, it's like, okay, this feels like an actual team. Like, I feel like I'm watching an old wrestling challenge. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's like, oh, okay, this is why, this is what we should be doing,
Well, like with any other producer, director, or anything like that, you want to have your inspirations that help guide you and got you into this, right? So for me, a big, huge thing for me was those wrestling challenges, WWF Superstar, Saturday Morning Wrestling, but it was also late night wrestling, trying to watch ECW in the same breath, right? More modernly, JCW Wrestling. I've followed that company since its inception, and seeing how Chikara, seeing all these other places, how they did their productions. And for me, it was always like, okay, if I'm now in that process of I can do a TV show, who's to stop me? What do I want it to look like? What do I want it to sound like? How do I want it to feel? How do I want it to flow? Yeah, all of that. And I feel that right now the people are enjoying it as much as I can see and tell. And that's all I want. I want this to continue to grow.
Absolutely. You know, we don't talk about it as much, but I think your passion speaks volumes here. You know, I can tell just from our conversation, and it's like you really, since NHW Pro, it's like this has got your fingerprints over it. Like I just know, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is everything we've ever talked about on those phone calls. So it's good to see on a personal level for me. I'll conclude this with New Heights. I want more question about New Heights Wrestling. They just celebrated their 18th year anniversary. What does that mean to you to be here now?
So obviously I was not a part of the entire 18 years of New Heights Wrestling. New Heights has had a lot of ups, a lot of downs. It has had a long history, not traumatic, but like anything, it's there. It's been around for some time. I've got my stamp on it now. And honestly, it means a lot. You know, it's always that thing. Vince McMahon's favorite book is The Little Engine That Could. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Unique story, isn't it? It's professional wrestling in a nutshell. On these levels. So for me, it very much is that. I've had the privilege and the honor of and an opportunity of a lifetime to achieve a childhood dream where most people wanted to be a pro wrestler or wanted to be the next big thing or the next big superstar, or however you want to put it. I wanted to be Paul Heyman. Everything that man's done, everything that man's achieved, all his little quirks, everything that made him him. It was always a fascination to me of how can this individual make arguably one of the best and biggest wrestling companies for its time, right? And yeah, I get to say in a small way that I am achieving that dream.
That's awesome. And yeah,
but before we continue on, it's a thank you, honestly, to guys like you, guys like Joe, the fans out there who may be watching this thing, the fans who may love me, who may hate me, who cares? The bottom line of it all the guys in the back, all the crew, all the management, everybody who's 18 years of professional wrestling is a big deal for one company. To have a part in that, you have a part in that. It's a team effort. We do not get to the TV show without being a team, without seeing the same vision, without all of us wanting the same thing, right? So I am just a small part of a much larger process. And it really comes down to guys like your dedication, AJ Strokes and First String, right? Hunter Hendricks and Logan Yan, Mike Faison, Suicidal Soldier, Tweedledee, Waylon Barley, Preston Veston, Cali Man, some guys that you fans may not have heard of in a very, very long time, right? Lane Smart, obviously one that I owe so much to, would be Gutter of the Gulf Coast Regulators, Ryan Holland, a slew of others, that Shane Gibson, Paul Jourdain, so many people that had small parts. Norm Kaiser, the guy who did video production before me, lordsofpain.net, who are now a different thing right now. They've evolved in, like, without them and their little contributions and keeping somewhat of a video archive of of New Heights past and other pro wrestling past. It's a thing for me of pro wrestling is it will treat you how you treat it. If you love it and you give it the kind of care and attention that it needs, boy, howdy, will it give it to you back.
Absolutely. Josh, we're going to do, I told you this, we're going to have a Patreon portion of this interview for people who are not on our Patreon. There's going to be some more.
What does the Patreons of Patreona have to say about things?
Well, let's get to it. If anything you want to promote, whether it's social media, just anything.
Let's be real. At Princess Josh 17, I believe is what it is, right? Princess Weird 17. They keep changing. I don't know anymore. I believe it's Princess Josh on all social media. New Heights Wrestling, follow them. Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling, amazing company that I work for. I also am doing production and helping out with Florida Deathmatch Carnival 2, another passion project with a friend of mine, Ruby Flyer. He handles all the business side. I'm just showing up, doing hosting, commentary, editing the show afterwards, helping out with some graphics here and there. But definitely Deathmatch Wrestling, trying to bring it back here to the state of Florida. Kaiju Big Battle, another company I work primarily for the Southern Division, but they constantly running shows and never a bad show. One of my favorite things to watch, even if I wasn't a part of their shows, I watched them as a fan, get to be a part of their shows now. Amazing company with Kaiju Big Battle. Can I also say like who I don't like and like it is right? Right. You're a giant disappointment. You still forever will be. Tweedle or Rick or whatever you're calling yourself, yeehaw, yippee-ki-yay, cowboy, right? Oh, look, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I told you that you were going to fail without me. You continuously fail without me. I am a true genius of professional wrestling. I told you a long time ago. You laughed at me, but who's laughing now? Who has the heavyweight title? Yeah, that's right. Mike Facin. Who else? Suicidal Soldier? Yeah. Mike Facin would be a lot better and a lot smarter if you listen to me. Shane Gibson, or whatever you're going by now. Thanks for dying for me, but my bad. Bodie O'Hare. I don't want to say anything to him, but his mom, specifically his mom, I want to say hi to. She's a very lovely woman. Did you know Bodie O'Hare's dad doesn't know how to run a video camera? No. Horrible. Last time I was over there, left the lens cap on. It's like amateur hour over there. But anyway, Waylon Barley. I'm just going to leave it at that. There's so many other people. Royce Adams, son of Crush. What a marvelous athlete. Definitely somebody to be looking out for in the future. I mean, this kid has a bright future with or without me. Definitely somebody to be on the lookout for. Rafael Delgado, another one. The Mad Hatter of pro wrestling. I don't manage him. I got nothing to do with him. Just a good buddy, a good friend, a fellow kid of Francisco Chiazzo's. Speaking of kids of Francisco Chiazzo, August Artois. If you are not aware of this kid, be aware. Going to Thailand, going overseas, making it work for him. And keep up the hard work, August. Another one, Noah Vale. Amazing talent. Keep up the hard work. Everybody in the state of Florida is rooting for you. You got it done. The Cheese. You slapped me in the face. You're working with the Savannah Bananas now. You and the young professor and all the rest of those goons. Have fun doing your banana dances and all of that. I'll be holding down the Florida Independence. Worry about it, guys. Anybody else that I want to mention in this little tirade I'm going on? Hi, Simon. How you doing? Thank you for all the knowledge. Yeah, I think I'm good now. I think I got it all out. Also, go Bolts.
Princess Josh, I thank you for your time. It is always entertaining, weird, and fun.